Hi, this is June 5th, 2020, and this is Foster Joseph Sayers III, and this is Sayers Soapbox. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a new constitution for the United States. I expect this is a topic that will take me multiple episodes to cover, so this is, part one of multiple parts. And in part one, I just want to discuss the need for a new constitution, because I know that a lot of people in America, super proud of our Constitution, which, uh, 200 years ago, it was a huge source of pride, right? It was a revolutionary thing for human rights. But, that was a long time ago. And, and someone I don't know who, but I came across, I think on Twitter, someone said we need a new operating system. Our operating system is out of date. And I thought, that's such a brilliant analogy to look at, if our country were a computer, we would have updated the operating system hundreds of times over the years, but we haven't. And I think that's why things aren't running the way that they should be in our society today, because the Constitution is just too outdated uh, to govern any longer. And like I said, I know people are really proud of our Constitution, but think about it. I mean, this document had to be amended to abolish slavery. It had to be amended to allow women to vote. Okay? And the reverence for our founding fathers needs to end. Like, they've had their day. Same with George Washington was a great man. I don't think there's any denying that. But he was also a racist, and he owned slaves, right? And Jefferson did as well. We need to reconcile with this as a country, because as you can see from what's going on, like, our failure to reconcile over this leaves us unhealed. And for me, looking at this Constitution, where it doesn't align with what I think the vast majority of people believe, right? Like, do you know anyone who's not a raging male chauvinist who doesn't believe that women should have always had the right to vote in the United States? Do you know anyone other than like a raging racist that believes that we should be allowed to own black people as slaves in our country? I think not, right? But the folks that drafted the Constitution, they all believe that stuff, right? So the document is fundamentally flawed, and we have to start over. I think when you look at the founding fathers, you know, maybe it's not fair to say that they were all racist, right? They didn't all own slaves. But I mean, what that to me underscores is the fact that, like, our founding fathers were multiple people. They did not speak with one voice. They all had very different opinions. And, the United States almost didn't happen, right? It was really hard to come to an agreement on how we would govern all of our states. And I think that is probably why we haven't had another constitutional convention, because I think, you know, it would be hard to agree again. But at the same time, I think that is why it would have so much value to our society today, is because it would remind us that we do believe the same things largely as a society in America when it comes to things like liberty, personal freedom, human rights, equality. And to the extent that we don't, I think that will come to the surface, right, as part of this exercise. But I think living in America today, we can't be governed by a document written exclusively by white men, a document that didn't intend equality for women and non whites. We need a new constitution drafted by men, women, and people of all colors, all backgrounds, religious creeds, sexual orientations, whatever identifier you want, conservative, liberal, um, everything I guess put in different, right? You want to have people who care about our country with different opinions, with different backgrounds, to come together and say, this is our governing document, and this is what we want to rededicate ourselves to as a country. Because the old Constitution is not cutting it, and it's had its day. And no more than you would try to run Windows 95 on whatever computer you have today, try to execute those programs, it wouldn't work. It's just not equipped to deal with what it needs to be equipped to deal with. For those who worry about, well, we have all of this body of constitutional law and so on and so forth, and it's just like when we started with the first constitution. We referenced laws from Great Britain to help us decide cases. I mean, you'd think it'd be easier having just written it to apply the law, but even in Japan, right? They will cite our Supreme Court cases because their constitution was modeled after ours. So trust me, America would still be okay if we had a new constitution, but I think it's time. And the format I believe it should take is for another episode. But let me know what you think about a new constitution in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and it's been a long week. I know I'm emotionally drained, being an empathetic person, and I just want to say that Black Lives Matter to me. I'm committed to a better future, and I'm very concerned for the safety of my black friends, for the safety of their children, and I want them to know that I love them and I'm committed to a better life for you and for them. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.